Okay, so let's take a look at this painting. It's titled American Progress, but that actually was not the name of the painting. If you Google the words Manifest Destiny, you'll actually see this painting if you click on images, but the title of the painting was not Manifest Destiny. It was actually American Progress. It was painted by a man named John Gast, and he painted it in the latter part of the 1800s, which we call the 19th century. I would like us to look at this painting in terms of breaking it down into different parts. So we're going to think of it almost as a map, and we're going to label the different parts of the map with the north, the east, the south, and the west. And we're going to divide up these different sections. So this would be the east, and this would be the north, this would be the south, and this would be the west. Okay, so in looking at those different parts of the country, I'm going to kind of focus first on what, if this is the east right here, this side of the painting, and it overlaps with part of the north, then this area right here, that where the east and the north kind of meet, would be called the northeast. And the northeast, if I were to kind of like get some of that messiness out of the way, is all of this area that I'm going to circle it in green. We'll go ahead and call all of this the northeast. I'm not worried about what's up in here in the sky because that's not really representing anything we're going to focus on in terms of this painting. Not entirely. But what we're going to look at is, what do we see in that area in the northeast? What types of things do you notice that are in the northeast that are not in the other parts of the painting? Okay, so that's one thing you're going to look at as you're analyzing the painting, is certain sections of the painting, and you're going to look at them in terms of geographical terms. Okay, so that's one section of the painting we're going to have to focus on as we analyze American Progress. So let's take a look at another section. So as I said, this is the south here, this whole area down here, but it overlaps with part of the west. So similarly, the way we did with the northeast, we can kind of look at all of this area as the southwest. And you'll see what's happening in the southwest is very different than what's happening in the northeast, at least at this time in the 1800s. Things are happening differently in different parts of the country. And the same thing with all of what you see here in the south. See down here especially, in the south, you'll have certain lifestyles and certain types of economies and ways of living that are focused on by the people that live in the south that are very different than if you look really, really closely. It's very hard to see at some of the things that are where those arrows are pointing, but I'll kind of tell you, if you look closely, those are cities. And some of the maps in schools, you might be better than this map. But those cities that you see here in the northeast, you do not see down here in the southeast. So if this is the southeast, or also really the south, and I'm going to go ahead and maybe I'll make this purple. You see that farming agricultural lifestyle, right? Farming and agriculture. And if you're looking up here in the northeast where I had this as green, you'll see here a very urban city lifestyle. And those are different things to focus on that the painting is accurately depicting for how things were different in different parts of the country in the 1800s. Okay. Furthermore, if you look out west, you'll see here what is happening as Americans are moving westward. Now remember, for Americans to be moving westward, I think I should have said this earlier actually, we would be going from east to west. So east to west means we're going in this direction. Americans moving westward. And as we're doing that, you can see what's happening over in this area in the west. There's some effects of us moving westward, okay? And over here, the effects are not just happening to those animals, but you can see the effects of moving westward to other people as well, as Americans are furthering their progress, so to speak, as we go westward. Okay, so those are some things to think about in terms of where things are happening in the painting and what's happening in those different places. It's very important also to look at not only the lifestyles and how they were different, but the technologies. So notice here, and I think I might want to get rid of some of the lines that are making it a little bit messy. So Look at this technology here. Let me get rid of an extra line there, actually. Okay, look at this technology here. And then I think you'll see more technologies, very difficult to see, but right along here, see some technologies. And I'll give you hints. They're modes of transportation. And that's also what you're looking at here, are ways people transport themselves. And also here, notice all of this is happening, all of those technologies I just showed you are happening on the East Coast. They're not really happening out here in the West. The technologies in terms of transportation that are happening in the West are very different than what's happening in the East. So how could that be sort of telling a story about the advantages of living in one place versus the advantages of living in another place, and the types of technologies, transportation technologies you have, and how that might lead to kind of the bettering of some societies, and also differences in who was able to get things done more efficiently versus less efficiently in different parts of the country. Okay, so think of the different directional terms. Think of the fact that we were traveling as Americans. We're going from east to west. They were traveling from east to west. There were lots of different things happening in different parts of the painting from where we were and the lifestyles of what had been already established in the East to where we were going, and maybe what the possibilities of where we were going and the lifestyles that would emerge westward. Also, I want you to focus on two other things. Notice the tone and the color and those differences that you'll see in one side of the painting. Like if you're going to look at this side of the painting, look at the color, and if you could say the words light or dark, which of those words would apply, versus the other side of the painting, if you were to look at the either lightness or darkness in terms of color. And I think it's even most evident when you look at the sky and which side of the painting has a lighter sky versus which side of the painting has a darker sky, and what that might mean symbolically. All right, so I wish you the best in analyzing this painting and in answering any questions that I may offer for you in terms of what does American Progress say about what was happening in the 1800s, and maybe even what is the artist trying to say about what Americans are doing as we move from east to west and differences in different parts of the country. Thanks. Wish you the best of luck. I can't wait to hear from you in Schoology and answer any questions that you may have.